A kidnapped girl signaled the bikers. They didn't think twice. The wind howled against the speeding van, carrying with it the muffled, terrified hopes of a young girl whose life had just been ripped away from everything familiar. Her palms pressed desperately against the cold window, her breath fogging the glass as her wide eyes searched for any sign of rescue. The road stretched endlessly before her, empty, merciless, and silent. But fate had placed someone ahead. And they were watching. Red heart before the story continues. Please like, comment, share and subscribe if you believe in bravery, kindness, and second chances. Your support helps us bring more true-hearted stories to the world. Red heart. Her name was Emma. 14. A dreamer who loved drawing sunsets, because each one promised tomorrow could be kinder. But earlier that morning, tomorrow had been stolen. Snatched outside her school by men whose intentions reeked of darkness. The terror in her chest burned like fire as the van carried her deeper into isolation, each passing minute an eternity she feared might never end. The landscape around them turned more barren, golden fields, distant telephone poles like silent soldiers, and a long road leading nowhere. Her captors didn't notice her tears. They didn't care. She felt invisible in the worst way. Her wrists ached from the tight grip they had used dragging her inside, and every bump in the road jolted her closer to despair. Then something changed. Up ahead, 5 figures stood next to roaring motorcycles, bikers in leather vests, strong, broad, and tattooed. They were the kind strangers most people feared on sight. But Emma wasn't looking at stereotypes. She was searching for hope. She leaned forward, heart pounding as the van slowed. Her fingers trembled as she pressed her face against the window. The bikers looked rough and intimidating, but their presence gave her a flicker of courage she didn't know she still had. She slapped her hand against the glass. Once. Twice. Harder. Her eyes screamed the words her mouth couldn't. Help me. The largest biker, tall, with steel-gray hair and a stare sharp as broken glass, noticed her. His eyes narrowed not in anger, but in recognition of danger. Emma's silent plea pierced the moment like a gunshot. She pressed both hands to the window again, frantic, begging. The biker's jaw hardened. A split-second decision burned into his instincts. He stepped into the road. The van jerked to a sudden stop, dust kicking up around its tires. The captors inside cursed, trying to mask panic with control. But the bikers were already closing in, a human shield forged of loyalty and fire. Not a single one hesitated. Emma's heart battled between terror and hope. She could feel the tension in the air, thick and dangerous, but the bikers stood firm. They were used to confronting threats. Used to protecting the vulnerable without applause or reward. The gray-haired leader stared down the men in the front seat, who tried to bluff their way through the moment, claiming misunderstanding, pretending innocence. But Emma's tear-streaked face reflected in the glass destroyed every lie they could attempt. His gaze shifted back to her, this time softer. More reassuring. Inside the van, one of the captors reached for something, a weapon maybe. The moment cracked open like lightning. What happened next was fast, raw, and real. The bikers acted without fear. They dragged open the van door. Their voices rose, not yelling, but commanding. The kidnappers' confidence collapsed as hands of iron yanked them into the dust. Emma stumbled out, weak and trembling. When her feet touched the road, the warmth of rescue hit her harder than sunlight. She hadn't known safety could feel like this. The gray-haired biker wrapped his vest around her shoulders, shielding her from everything evil still lurking behind her. They called for help, but they didn't wait for police to give comfort. Emma's fear slowly melted into sobs of relief, the first sound she could truly release. One biker stood beside her while 2 others ensured the men stayed down. This wasn't just a rescue. It was a promise that she mattered. That someone still cared. As they waited, Emma told the bikers everything, how she had been forced, the things they'd threatened. Her voice was small, breaking often, but they listened like the world depended on each word. Because in that moment, it did. Sirens finally echoed through the vacant horizon. Justice was coming. But Emma had already found her saviors. The officers praised the bikers for their courage, calling them heroes. But the men shook their heads. They said they were just doing what was right. For them, kindness wasn't weakness. Protecting people wasn't an act of charity. It was a creed. Hours later, Emma sat in the shade beside the motorcycles, wrapped in an emergency blanket, sipping water someone had placed gently in her hands. The bikers stayed until the very last moment, until she was sure her parents were on their way and she no longer trembled at every sound behind her. The gray-haired biker knelt in front of her, his voice as steady as steel but soft enough to calm her storm. He told her she was strong, not because she stayed silent, but because she reached out when hope seemed impossible. He told her to keep drawing sunsets, because every day deserved a chance to end with beauty. When her mother arrived, their reunion was a flood of emotion too powerful for words. The bikers gave a respectful nod and turned back to the road. Their engines roared like thunder, carrying them forward, not seeking glory, just searching for the next soul who might need them. Emma watched them go, the vest still around her shoulders like invisible armor. She didn't yet know how this moment would shape her life, but she knew one thing with certainty: strangers had become her angels. And she would never again underestimate the goodness hiding in unexpected places. Speech balloon. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, comment your thoughts, share with friends, and subscribe for more inspiring true stories. Speech balloon. Before the end, I have one special request. Sparkles, comment below, there is good in this world, Sparkles. And as you do, remember Emma's courage. Remember the bikers' instinctive heroism. Remember that kindness, bravery, and second chances can appear on any lonely road, even when hope feels lost. Sometimes, the ones who look the toughest are the ones who protect the gentlest hearts.